Ask most people the best way to protect their kidneys, and you'll hear the same two things: drink more water and cut back on salt. Both are true, but there may be a third of the real story. What almost nobody explains is what happens overnight. Blood pressure naturally drops while you sleep, and that's when kidneys do their most important recovery work. What you eat in that last hour before bed either helps that recovery or works against it. After 60, this matters more than almost anything because kidney damage is silent. There's barely any pain to warn you. By the time it shows up on a routine blood test, a third of your filtering power can already be gone, and unlike the liver, kidneys don't regrow what they lose. For years, this quiet problem has crept up on people who thought they were doing everything right. So here are the fruits to eat in the evening that actually help protect kidney filters overnight. Some expected, a few surprising, and one that a lot of people have been warned away from for a reason worth explaining honestly. At the end, there's a simple bedtime recipe combining the safest and best of them. First, to anyone worried they've left it too late, even though kidneys can't regrow what's lost, the decline can be slowed almost to a stop. People do it every day, holding their kidney numbers steady for years once they stop overloading the filters and start giving them what they need. Here's how kidneys actually work. Each one holds roughly 1 million tiny filters called nephrons, and at the center of each is a small cluster of blood vessels that does the actual filtering, pulling waste out of the blood while keeping the good stuff in. You're born with all the nephrons you'll ever have. They don't come back. So everything after 60 is about protecting the ones still working. Two things wear those filters down fastest. The first is pressure. High blood pressure grinds against those tiny vessels over the years, like water hammering through a hose, scarring the filter shut one by one. The second is oxidative stress, essentially a slow internal rusting inside cells, the same kind of change that turns a cut apple brown. A kidney under constant high pressure and oxidative stress is quietly losing nephrons every year. This is why evenings matter. Blood pressure isn't meant to stay flat all day. In a healthy body, it drops 10 to 20% during sleep, called nighttime dipping, which is the kidney's recovery window. People whose pressure doesn't dip at night lose kidney function faster. That's well established. So the goal of evening eating is simple. Help pressure dip, cool oxidative stress, and avoid loading the kidneys with extra work right as they're trying to rest. Every fruit here does one of three things overnight: delivers antioxidants that mop up oxidative stress, carries plant compounds that relax blood vessels and support the natural nighttime dip, or works upstream on gut health, uric acid, or the urinary tract to reduce the load reaching the kidneys. Most are low in sugar and gentle enough for nighttime, with one notable exception explained later. The first fruit is blueberries, and this one has the strongest evidence behind it. Their deep blue color comes from anthocyanins, some of the most powerful antioxidants found in food. They directly target the oxidative stress that scars the filters, and diets rich in these pigments are linked to lower inflammation and better blood vessel function, and kidneys are essentially an organ made of blood vessels. Blueberries are also low in potassium and sodium, making them friendly even for kidneys already under strain. A small handful, about half a cup, plain or stirred into yogurt, works well at night. Frozen is just as good as fresh. Second is cranberries, usually associated only with urinary infections, but the deeper reason belongs here too. They contain a compound that makes it physically harder for bacteria to attach to the urinary tract lining. That matters because infections that travel upward are a real way healthy kidneys get damaged over a lifetime. Cranberries are also rich in the same antioxidant family already discussed. The trick is avoiding sugary cranberry cocktail and instead using a small spoonful of unsweetened dried cranberries or a splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice cut with water. Third is red grapes. The color matters, so choose red or purple over green. The skin contains resveratrol, one of the most studied compounds in aging research, which calms inflammation and helps blood vessels relax and widen, supporting a smoother nighttime pressure dip. Grapes also contain a small natural amount of melatonin, nudging the body towards deeper sleep, which reinforces that same nighttime dip. Since grapes are sweeter, portion matters. About 10 to 15, eaten whole with the skin on, since that's where the resveratrol lives. Freezing them makes them last longer and feel more like a treat. Fourth is the apple, which protects kidneys through the gut. Apples are rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that feeds good gut bacteria. A calm gut sends far less inflammation into the bloodstream, which the kidneys must filter. The skin also contains quercetin, an antioxidant that protects blood vessels, so eating the apple whole matters. Apples are low in potassium too. A medium apple, ideally a tart variety like Granny Smith, an hour or two before bed, sliced with a little cinnamon if you like. Fifth is tart cherries, which do something none of the others do. They help lower uric acid, a waste product that, when elevated, contributes to gout, kidney stones, and faster kidney decline. Tart cherries are also one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, supporting both deeper sleep and the nighttime pressure dip. Use unsweetened dried tart cherries or a splash of unsweetened tart cherry juice cut with water about an hour before bed, avoiding anything labeled as a sweetened cherry drink. Sixth, strawberries, rich in antioxidants, including ellagic acid and vitamin C, both fighting oxidative stress and inflammation. They're mostly water and fiber with little sugar, making them light on the stomach at night. Potassium is a bit higher than blueberries, so those with more compromised kidneys should keep portions modest, about half a cup to a cup, plain or with yogurt. Seventh is pineapple, notable for bromelain, a natural enzyme that reduces inflammation and eases digestion, lightening the load reaching the kidneys overnight. It also brings vitamin C and other antioxidants, and is lower in potassium than most people assume. The catch is sugar, so about half a cup of fresh or frozen pineapple is enough. Canned should be avoided due to added syrup. Eighth is citrus, oranges, and similar fruits, which comes with real nuance worth explaining honestly. Citrus is rich in citrate, which binds to calcium in urine and helps prevent kidney stones, along with vitamin C and other antioxidants. The catch is potassium. Citrus is high in it. For healthy kidneys, this isn't a problem. They clear extra potassium easily, and potassium itself supports healthy blood pressure. But for someone with diagnosed kidney disease or on dialysis, potassium can build up to dangerous levels, so anyone with a kidney diagnosis or on potassium-affecting medication should check with their doctor before adding citrus, bananas, or other high-potassium fruit. For most people without those conditions, a few segments of orange in the evening is a fine, citrate-rich choice. These fruits support already healthy kidneys and mild strain. They aren't treatment for kidneys already in serious trouble. Swelling in the legs, ankles, or around the eyes, foamy or bloody urine, a sharp drop in urination, or pain in the back or side below the ribs are signs to see a doctor, not something to address with fruit. And anyone with a kidney disease diagnosis, on dialysis, or taking blood pressure or potassium-related medication should only add these fruits with their doctor's guidance, especially citrus. Consider one example, a 67-year-old, active and feeling fine, whose blood work showed her kidney filtering number had slipped into a watch range, with a waist marker also ticking upward. She had no diabetes, rarely drank, and had assumed kidney trouble happened to other people. Rather than starting with medication, the focus went to her blood pressure and her evening habits. She used to wind down with salty crackers or ice cream most nights, right as her kidneys were entering their recovery window. That got swapped. Some nights blueberries and strawberries, other nights a small apple with cinnamon or a spoonful of unsweetened tart cherries an hour before bed. Oranges were kept to daytime once her potassium was confirmed fine, and a 10-minute walk after dinner was added to help lower blood pressure. A year later, her kidney number had held steady, not improved since kidneys don't regrow what's lost, but the decline had stopped, and her blood pressure was the best it had been in years. For a kidney at that age, holding steady is a real win. Finally, the bedtime kidney tonic, a simple 2-minute recipe. Blend a small handful of blueberries, about a quarter cup, 4 or 5 sliced strawberries, a small splash of pure unsweetened cranberry or tart cherry juice, about half a cup of plain unsweetened kefir or yogurt for gut support, a little water to loosen it, and a small shake of cinnamon. Drink it about an hour before bed in place of a salty snack or dessert. For a sweeter version, add a few red grapes before blending. For a sensitive stomach, skip the kefir and use water with the berries instead. If you'd rather not blend, a small bowl of blueberries and sliced strawberries with a spoon of plain yogurt does much the same job. Citrus is deliberately left out of the blended recipe because of the potassium concern. If kidneys are healthy and cleared by doctor, citrus can still be enjoyed separately during the day. So tonight, make the last food of the day one of these fruits instead of something salty or sweet. Pick one low-potassium fruit already at home, blueberries, strawberries, or an apple, and eat a small portion about an hour before bed. For the full effect, make the bedtime kidney tonic. Add a 10-minute walk after dinner, since blood pressure is the single biggest lever over kidney health. And if there's a kidney disease diagnosis or blood pressure potassium medication involved, it's worth asking a doctor directly which fruits are safe given individual